What is up, everybody, and welcome to another Premodern video. We're going to be playing in the league, and it's been a minute since I've actually brought a brew to this league, Magic Online Society tourney, but it was about time. This one is actually one that we put together with Caleb when I went to Madison. After we played the event, like the day that I was gonna take the flight home, we had like an hour or a little bit more to kill before my lift showed up, and we were kind of thinking that basically Rampant Growth is a great card that is very underplayed, and basically sees no play whatsoever, right? And then Pernicious Deed is probably the best card in the format that does not have enough shells. Like, if this card were, for example, like blue-white, or if it were like green-white or something like that, I think that we would see a lot more Pernicious Deed decks out there. Obviously, it's green-black, so that was very much by design. But I feel like its color restrictions really make it very hard to find a shell for in the format. And obviously there's the rock, obviously there's the new like Dead Guy Ale version, that Deed Guy Ale as they're calling it, which is, I think, is a great name. And there are some potential Deed shells out there, and I think this may be one of those. This one feels a little bit close to something like an Astral Sligh kind of deck, and of course the idea was, DeedCree of Justice is kind of great. Bear in mind that Caleb and I brewed this deck after he had top-8'd with his strong deck list, and obviously, he was DeedCreeing for a bunch, so DeedCree was fresh in our minds, and then we just went ahead and we just try to figure out what a shell like this would be. So it's effectively a green and white control deck, which is not something that you see in the format too often, but we are splashing black for the best card that you can splash in a deck like this. So black is specifically for Pernicious Deed and nothing else, and we're splashing black off of one single Llanowar Wastes and 2 basic swamps. I'll get into the mana base in a second, but the idea was, again, Deed just being the glue that holds this deck together, and then we have Wrath of God against creature decks, same thing with Source of Pleasure's Birth Removal spell in the format. Obviously you need to pack some disenchants and naturalizes, and I wanted to also have a way to make sure that the end game is gonna always favor us. There's also the combo of Dust Bowl plus lands and then Eternal Dragon, and then it's gonna get to a point where we may need to start shuffling those planes back into the deck when we play against a control deck or a deck like the Rock, where you kind of have like an unbeatable end game, but you kind of have to make it there, and we only have room for 7 planes because we're again playing 3 colors between the forests and the swamps, and we also wanted to make sure that we fit some actual win conditions. Win conditions suck, but you have to do what you gotta do, and Treetop Village kind of did part of that win condition slot, which is nice because we want to be playing a bunch of lands. We're playing 27 here with 3 copies of Dust Bowl, obviously some fetch lands. Obviously we want to make sure that we have a bunch of basics because we're building the deck around Rampant Growth and a single Harrow. This is obviously a bad Rampant Growth. Like, if I could play 5 Rampant Growths, I would just play that instead, because it just fits much better in the curve. But Harrow is still like fun, and you get to like Harrow into Naturalize, I guess, or something like that. I don't know. This was kind of a last minute addition. I also considered Cross and Tusker number 3, but I feel like being able to ramp, like the capability of ramping is such a big deal for a deck like this, but ramping on turn 2 is so much better than ramping on turn 3 because it allows us to Wrath of God or Ravenous Veil on turn 3, which is pretty big difference, particularly if we're playing against a deck like Goblins. I feel like that is pretty much the shell that we're going to be working with. Obviously, the 2-5X Infernus, this is the Brian Seldon special, which I have taken to heart, and I think that, again, like just having access to a sideboard card in the main deck frees up some very well-valued sideboard slots in a deck like this, and not only that, but also does a ton of work just in the format in general, right? Also, just, fitting in the curve doesn't hurt either. In the sideboard, we have some Exalted Angels, one of my favorite cards in the format. We have a Ray of Revelation, Naturalized Crumble, some extra naturalized variant effects. We have 2 Cop Reds. This is kind of like a combo, I guess, against the red decks, because obviously you can't just win. And if you haven't listened to Will Hurt's episode with Iron Lungs and with the one and only Aaron Dix, I highly recommend you check it out. But you know, just Cup Red is not gonna win you the game against red, but Cup Red plus something else may. And that's something else that I'm cooking with is gonna be Sphere of Resistance. I'm not sure if this is, you know, the way to go about it. I also consider like a copy of Warmth, but Warmth in a deck without tutors I'm not particularly excited about, and I just don't like the card Warmth period also, so that also didn't help. But yeah, I am very scared of the red matchup. It is far and away the scariest deck that I could see. Like if I'm looking at this deck list and I am envisioning what are probably really bad matchups for this deck, would be something like Fluctuator or any sort of fast combo deck that is not creature based, and then obviously the red deck. And you know, Cop Red is kind of trying to help there. I don't know what the best way to go about it, and again, this is my first rough draft, so I do not expect this to be the final deck list. This is just to dip my toes into the water, so we'll see what happens. We also have some Engineer Plagues and Haunting Echoes. These are kind of some interesting ones. So first off, we have Plague, obviously great against the Elves decks, the Goblins deck, of course, but even more so than those, the card that I'm thinking of the most is Hermit Druid, and to another extent Phyrexian Shapeshifter. So those are the cards that I am looking to, you know, to cover a little bit with Engineered Plague. That's the reason why it is in the deck. And then we have one copy of Haunting Echoes, and I'm playing a BB card in a deck that has, you know, 2 basic swamps and a Llanowar Wastes, but we also have, you know, the Harrow, the triple Croson Tusker, and the 4 Rampant Growth. So we actually have 11 black sources, and I don't think I'm gonna be casting this on turn 5 that often anyway. Like, this is more of like a turn 7 or so kind of card. So I think it may work, it may also not work, we'll see how it works. But this is just to give me a shot versus decks like Replenish or things like that, where I just don't really have the tools that I need in a deck that is playing, you know, is playing green and white, you know? So the alternative was to play like Duress or something like that, but like those cards are, like Duress, Cabal Therapy are just buying you time, while I feel like in those matchups they're going to be so bad for me that I need something that is going to actually close the door as opposed to something that buys me time. So that's why I'm going with Haunting Echoes in a deck that is going to kind of struggle to cast it. Finally, as I just said, Sphere of Resistance and Tomor Script. These are pretty self-explanatory versus Shrimp, versus maybe control decks and stuff like that, and then obviously versus Graveyard combo decks and whatnot. I'm very stoked to try this deck out. I think it has a lot of potential, and I have no idea whether it's playable or not. So let's see. If you're enjoying the content, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, and I'll see you there for round number 1. Alright, here we go. Round number 1 against none other than the one, the only, that is, of course, Tomitowski. This hand does not seem particularly great, so let's ship it. This one's kind of slightly better. Like, all I need to find is a green source of some sort. If I find a green source, this hand is kind of awesome. Kind of weird that I'm on the play, though. Yeah, let's go to 5. I'm gonna multi 5, see what's up. This is the best hand we've seen. Perfect. Okay, so we're gonna keep this. We're gonna probably bottom. I think I want to bottom Furnace and Wrath. Actually, let's bottom the double Wrath, because I only gonna have a single white source as things stand. So I think I want to shuffle those Wraths back into the deck, though. So definitely want to get a green source, and we're gonna go turn 1 Phyrexian Furnace. And then we're gonna pass the turn. My best draw would be, okay, so he's on blue-white. My best draw would be white source, but that one also does it. That's also Rampant Growth would have been fantastic there, but this seems fine. So we're gonna be hitting land drops, nice and easy. Do I care about cycling Furnace? I think I do. I think I'm just gonna sack the Furnace. I think that Tom is on Landstill, so I'm not too afraid of anything, really. It's not a bad draw. Not a bad draw at all. I'm just gonna cycle Tusker to get a Plains on end step. No need to play into a potential mana leak. Don't have to. So let's cycle 4 planes. And my best draw now, it's probably Eternal Dragon. Dust Bowl is interesting. Yeah. So let's Dust Bowl. I'm just gonna Dust Bowl on his upkeep. And the reason to Dust Bowl here is so that he actually can't FOF. On my end step, he fetches maybe Impulse. Oh, Cycle DeedCree for thing. Yeah, okay. Now I'm just gonna obviously do this now. Okay. Do I want to throw away one of these Dust Bowls? Not really. I think I'd rather play Plains. I'm gonna sack one of these basic forests. And once again, I'm just gonna Dust Bowl on his upkeep, sacking the forest. That one is also dead. I don't think I can throw away my White Source. So here I am actually going to throw away this Dust Bowl. I don't think I can get rid of my colored sources. Yeah, okay. Just playing the Dust Bowl game here, huh? Would love to find some more green sources. Another factory into standstill. Right on time. Missing land drops, obviously pretty good for us. Him missing land drops, I mean, of course. Finding a red source there is pretty good. So something that I could do here is I could swing with Treetop and then source to Plowshares, but I just don't really have to. So this is just fine. He's going to discard. Discarding Humility. It's a fetch land. I think I can probably start getting... Oh, that's a big draw. Alright, so now I feel like I'm heavily favored at this point. I'm gonna fetch for, I guess, another White Source. And we're just gonna cycle DeedCree. 1, 2, 3. Oh yeah, that's a big one. Oh yeah, baby. Woof. Okay, yeah, this is good. So I'm just going to... Yeah, this game is over now. Draw an Eternal Dragon means that I just get to Dust Bowl him indefinitely. So the game is officially over. I don't think he can win anymore. He's gonna have to crack his own standstill. Okay, FOFs is fine. I think we just go Dust Bowl versus everything else. And he has to take the Dust Bowl. Oh, he doesn't beat Dust Bowl? Okay, can work with this. So discard Wrath, discard SDP, discard Rampant Growth. Oh, I should have blown up a factory there. Whoops. A little bit of a mistake. Seal of Cleansing. You got it. So now we're going to Dust Bowl the factory. Sucking a Plains. Untap. Discards counterspell source. Draw a Llanowar. I think we're just gonna play a Treetop. I actually get to swing. I can also resolve a deed this turn. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna play Treetop and Dust Bowl factory. And then I can just start swinging. And I can also cycle Eternal Dragon on end step. So we're looking pretty good here. He can potentially find the Wrath, which is fine. I just don't care. I kind of would like to resolve this Gaia's Blessing, however, because I want to shuffle some planes back into my deck. Probably a DeedCree as well while I'm at it. So plane cycling, get a planes, untap. It's another DeedCree. It's probably game. Swing first. And I think I just pass. You can fall off here, but I don't think I care about anything. Like, sure, you can have a Wrath, I guess. I guess it's gonna be White Sources versus everything else. Or lands versus spells. No, because he's just gonna take the lands. So I'm just going to be like White Sources versus cards. He just gets the 2 White Sources, which makes sense. I'm just gonna get to DeedCree him on end step. Like, I don't know how he wins. So 1, 2, 3, cycle DeedCree, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We draw a Wrath. Perfect. So now it's a forced Wrath. Otherwise he just loses. And guess play Llanowar Waste. I mean, I just don't really want to run the DeedCree into the Seal of Cleansing. So I think we just pass here. I imagine he's got 1 Wrath left in the deck, because he's still playing. So now it's just White Sources. He just has enough White Sources at this point, so I guess spells versus lands, but I don't want him to get lands. I guess spells and a basic versus non-basics, which this will mean that he's gonna grab the second pile, and that's good, because that means he has less lands. But I have the Dust Bowl to take care of the lands, so it's just... There's the Wrath, which is fine. Don't really care that much about that. I have 2 Treetops in play. And tap. Goes to discard, discarding manually. And I'm just gonna lead on Blessing. Target myself, shuffling DeedCree, and Plains. Green and 1. Find another worthless Swords to Plowshares. I can attack, which is gonna enable one of his Swords to Plowshares. He probably has one left in hand. I kind of don't want him to be able to use his mana though. So I'm just gonna play a treetop and say go. I don't have to go to discard. He doesn't have a way of ending the game. Maybe I should have played Pernicious Deed to force him to crack the Seal of Cleansing. So now we're just gonna start to upkeep the Eternal Dragon. Nice, another Dust Bowl. Play Windswept Heath, shuffle to go get Plains. 1, 2, 3. 2 Pernicious. Actually, can't pay like that. Pay like that. Play a Deed. It's probably gonna get destroyed by the seal, but I'm going to discard anyway, so it's whatever. Cycles DeedCree, and I have like triple Swords to Plowshares, Wrath of God. It's gonna main phase blow up the Dust Bowl, which is fine. No cycle, just to leave the guys back. Cycle Dragon, untap. I don't think I want to get back Dragon this turn because I'm gonna be bowling the Dust Bowl. I guess I can just force the counterspell here. 1, 2, 3. Pernicious Deed. He has to counter this, otherwise I just blow up the tokens. So this is a fourth counterspell. Forced counter. That's fine. Now 1, 2. I guess it's more important to like blow up the Dust Bowl than anything else. So blow up the Plains. And now Rampant Growth for a Swamp. There's also the fact that he's gonna deck. So I'm kind of winning on every single axis, which is funny. That's a Factory. Get blown up by a Dust Bowl. I think I can take 4 here. This is fine. I already have a land drop, so I don't need to cycle. Okay, it's a pretty good one. So let's go 1, 2, 3. Probably has to counter this. Forbid? That's pretty sexy. Forbid with... Okay, so now he's going to be able to counter this Blessing, but it's... I think that's fine. I'm going to have to fight through it. Actually, I think I want to value this Blessing a little bit higher. Let's blow up his Factory, and I guess I'm going to swing and force the first Swords to Plowshares. There it is. So gain 3, pass the turn. I guess this next turn, I'm probably gonna have to go for the Angel. I guess I don't have to actually. No, this is fine. I can just get back the Eternal Dragon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Draw. Get a Plains. Play out the Plains, and I guess... Do I serve? I think I swing. So this is going to be the last Swords to Plowshares, I think. I don't think he has any more. So that's the last Swords to Plowshares. I think this treetop village is going to go the distance now. I think I have to plow one of these dudes. Let's plow both of them. Untap, fine. Let's activate treetop and swing. If he puts 3 dudes in front of this, that's going to be good for me. I think I have exactly 1 more Plains to go fetch, which is nice. Now we send the turn back. Untap, Eternal Dragon, get it back. Tusker's kind of hot here. Gonna force the Chomp. He goes down to 1. I like how we've been blanking all of his counter magic. Yep. Alright, cool. So game number 2. This matchup I expect to be very, very good. I do wonder if he has some sort of weirdo sideboard plan. I don't know, involving like Gaia's blessings of his own or stuff like that. Do think that plagues are probably fine. I do think deeds are good. Don't love Harrow, although it's an instant, which is kind of convenient. Exalted Angel, maybe it's relevant, because I don't think he can probably afford to have too many Swords to Plowshares style effects. So maybe Exalted Angel is fine. I guess I can't actually engineer a play because that's also my game plan. Whoops. Sphere of Resistance is interesting, but I'm not sure that's where I want to go. Particularly because his disenchant effects are kind of bad. But whenever I deed, I'm probably going to deed for X equals 0 anyway. Yeah, maybe just cut the Swords to Plow. I think I'd rather cut a Wrath. Bring in Exalted Angel number 2. Spheres. And Neutralize question mark? This seems fine. Have a nice little aggro hand over here. I'm going to keep this. Turn 3 Morph. What could it be? One thing I hadn't actually thought about is this deck is hella slow. Like, the clock is kind of relevant, I would say. Only a single blue source is interesting. Let's actually, I think I'm going to drop a Deed here. He may have to mana leak this. Otherwise, it gives us a ton of agency. Okay, cool. So now next turn, we get to play a treetop and play a morph. Impulsing for land drop main phase. It's a good sign for me. Good sign for the good guys. That's an interesting one. I think I saved this though. This could be anything, Tom. Don't worry about it. Could be literally anything, Tom. Man, I love this card so much. I have an unreasonable love for this card. Like, it's so freaking cool, man. Like, it's such an incredible card. So much fun, and just... it's my favorite card in the format, I think. Such great nostalgia for this one. And I love that this is actually like a legitimate threat. Like, it's actually a very good card in the Premodern format. One of my favorite features. I mean, he has a Wrath, he kind of has to use it now. What's up? Could be anything. Could be literally anything. Your turn. Never mind, did I say that this deck takes forever to win? I meant is gonna win by turn 8 or something. I would like to attack, please. Thank you. I think I want to Rampant Growth and see what Tom does. He does nothing. Okay, I'm definitely gonna get the second black source. This is preparing to set up Haunting Echoes, and I think I'm gonna play at this Pernicious Deed here. So I think it's important to play Deed here because if his counterspell is actual counterspell, that means that he actually cannot factor, which is obviously a pretty big deal because he probably has a very limited amount of answers to resolve Exalted Angel in post-hybrid games. And next turn, this Dust Bowl is going to start to do some pretty serious work. Plays land, passes the turn. Let's get in there. Oh yeah, here's the Dust Bowl. Your go. So we're just going to sack this basic forest, I think. Load it up, sack the forest, play the plains, go to combat. This matchup felt quite good at a casual 36 life. Dust Bowl your factory. What you got, Tom? What do you got? GG, he says. Yes, yes! We have broken Premodern, folks. This is the ultimate deck. No, the Landstill matchup felt pretty good. Good games, Tom. Alright, let's see what we got. So... we don't have black mana for Deed, but we do have Dragon plus DeedCree. Let's keep this hand. I'm still getting hang of this deck, and I want to see a little bit of what is the range of hands that can be kept with it. So we'll see. Hopefully we're not against a very aggressive deck with Foothills. Into red, into Machinehead. That's probably bad news for us. This is not great so far. We're gonna get to cycle to plane cycling this dragon, which is not particularly good. Really want to find a swamp or probably a Bailoff or something like that. Just something that can do some work. I find my planes, pass the turn. Well, there you go. That one plays. Am I cycling this DeedCree? Am I cycling this DeedCree for no value? Okay, so we're playing against Sligh. Please don't play a Dex. Ball lining. Ugh. Yeah, so that's gonna be 7 to the face. Pretty good. I don't think I'm cycling DeedCree because it's gonna give me something to do the following. So we're just gonna play a Bailoff. Another Deed. Not great. If I had found maybe like a Croson Tusker or something like that, we would obviously be in much better shape. It's kind of interesting whether I want to cycle this DeedCree for X equals 2 or whether I just want to make a big angel 2 turns from now. Incinerate the Bailoff. Resolves. Gain 4 in response. I'm ecstatic about what just happened. I am absolutely ecstatic about okay, so I'm probably going to trade with this Machinehead. Another brush land doesn't really do. But yeah, we're just going to cycle this DeedCree. We're going to see what we draw. But we are going to trade with Fantastic. Opponent's kind of flooded over there, which obviously is good for me. Gives me a shot at winning this. DeedCree, 2, make 2 dudes. Rampant Growth is good, so now I'm gonna be able to resolve these. Definitely take these straight over here. And there's a very small chance that my opponent's gonna have access to main deck Price of Progress. but there's kind of no reason to not play around it, basically. So Rampant Growth for Black Source. I think the Soldier token's getting in there. There's an argument for just saving 1 point of damage, but because of the Vortex, the fact that I'm going to be taking some damage from it, I know like it's probably not that great for me anyway. So yeah, let's just sit here. Furnace. So we're going to play Deed. And I guess I can just play Furnace and cycle it. And it just uses my mana effectively. I need to fetch, which I think it's probably fine. And I think I'm just paying the upkeep on Eternal Dragon next turn. So swing with the Soldier, because I need to start closing. So play Furnace, activate Furnace. The fact that I have a second Deed is kind of nice here. Opponent takes 2, down to 11. We're at 9, which is 3 cards in hand for opponent. Kind of a healthy amount of life. We're gonna crack, exile anything. Doesn't really matter what it is, but I just really want to draw the card. We're gonna pop these Deed for 3 to get rid of the Sulfuric Vortex. Then I'm gonna put a stop on my upkeep so that I can get Eternal Dragon. Untap, draw. Guess I'm playing Brushland, and I'm just going to be deploying. Pass the turn, Incinerate to face, down to 6, but nothing else. Another Bloodstain Area. Pretty lucky that my opponent's been flooding a little bit. So I'm gonna play this Eternal Dragon. Am I? I think I'm just... I don't think I play around Price or Progress game 1, right? Because I kind of need all the mana that I can get my hands on. I guess I'm gonna pass on it this turn, because next turn I can, you know, use... If my opponent does have Price of Progress next turn, I can hold up Dust Bowl activation and I can actually just deal a bunch of damage. Super punished. Super punished. Super punished for not playing the land. Ugh, that's brutal. Okay, so we can swing for 5, down to 6. So I have 5 mana, I have 10 mana, sorry, but I need to crack this Deed. So I think I give my opponent 1 extra turn, and if I have to plow my own guy, I just plow my own guy. Okay, opponent fetches down to 5. They untap Vortex. The good thing is I don't care about Bolt Lightning or anything like that. Am I supposed to crack now? To play around Shock and Incinerate? The problem is I die to Fire Blast otherwise. I think I'm gonna crack, unfortunately. I think I have to do this now. Maybe I was supposed to crack on my opponent's upkeep, but if they Fire Blast me in response, I cannot plow my own guy. But if this Deed resolves, I think I win the game. Okay, perfect. So now we are fine shape. Okay, so I go down to 1, that's fine. And they don't have it. Okay, yeah. Even if they did at this point, I can just, you know, plow my own Eternal Dragon and gain 5, so that's fine. Alright, let's go to game number 2. I don't want Wraths. I definitely want Exalted Angel. I think I want, obviously, the Cup Reds. I think I want the Spheres. I don't think I care for Gaia's Blessing. These are kind of whatever. I think I want Ray of Revelation over Naturalizes. What are my bad cards here? Furnace is kind of medium. I think I cut a Deed. Don't care about Plague, because Deed plus Sphere is kind of a numbo. So let's cut a couple of Deeds. I'm also going to have access to a bunch of Naturalizes and stuff, so that seems fine. I think I'm just going to cut Furnace, though. Let's bring in 3 Deeds. Also, like, Deed kind of a numbo with Cup Red, too. Yeah, kind of off Deed. I'm going to keep a couple because maybe I just need it, but... yeah, I think I'd rather have this. Is that even better than Wrath? Yeah, let's just actually... I feel like I definitely got lucky that game 1. I don't think that I would consider this to be a good matchup for the deck. We do have some Cup Reds. I do think this is a nice little combo. Cup Red plus Sphere of Resistance. But I'm not sure how this is going to go. Okay. Yeah, I think I keep this hand. I mean, this is kind of the best card in the deck, right? So any Rampant Growth hand is going to be a banger, and the fact that I also have STP from my opponent's turn 1 creature is very nice. Hopefully it's a pop. Grim Lavamancer. I'm going to plow right now. So if my opponent doesn't have another fetch, they get 1 activation of the Lavamancer. There's just no reason to enable that. Barbarian Ring. Okay. Mog Fantastic. Can just Wrath this guys. I think I'm just getting a Black Source here, just to make sure. Actually... I have exactly 1 Pernicious Deed. I think I'm going to get another green source in case I draw specifically Bailoff. Because if I draw specifically Bailoff, then that's probably the best draw in my deck. And if I can just play it next turn, that's gonna give me so much time. Bowl lining here will be pretty good for my opponent because, you know, obviously we are kind of a little bit down on resources. Best thing that can happen, Vortex is not great. So we're at a virtual 13 now, actually 12. Cop red is insane. Holy crap, is that a good draw? That's a good draw. That's an insane top deck right there. Whew. Alrighty, so now we got a win condition. We do have a win condition now. I'm going to activate only once. I'm gonna take the other point. This is so my opponent can't like fire blast my face or anything like that. That's fine. Upkeep. Oops. Oh, I auto F6 to that. That sucks. Okay, so here's a Wrath. Blow it all up. I'm gonna take these two, I think, down to 10. I could cop red one of them, but then I enable my opponent's incinerates and stuff. I would have pinged the Vortex, but since I forgot that I was auto F6 to this, I was auto yielding to the Vortex, so definitely got punished there. Versus Bubble. Okay, so the fact that we actually have Treetop is pretty nice because it's gonna allow me to start clocking my opponent. And now this Vortex is kind of my win condition, so I never need to top out for this DeedCree because this Vortex will eventually get him. Opponent should bubble me right now. Yeah, the more cards that they have in hand, the better it is for them. There's no reason to hold on the bubble activation. Okay, so now I'm not an idiot, so I stopped this Vortex trigger. Activate one. I guess I have to click there. That's funny how that works. Another Treetop. Okay, kind of feel like I'm in okay shape here. Next turn, Treetop can get in there for 3, and that means a 3-turn clock alongside this Vortex. And that also allows me, if I find any untap land, I'm going to play that instead of playing this Treetop Village, because that's going to force my opponent to bolt the Treetop, which is grim. This not, in fact, it slows down my opponent's Barbarian Ring, which I'm more. Could cycle this DeedCree for 1, but that's going to leave me a little bit tapped out of, you know, a little bit tapped low. Don't want to mess with that. So, untapped land. Okay, so definitely going to get in there with Treetop. See if this goes through. And if this gets bolted or something, then I'm going to play a second Treetop or Incinerator or whatever, because I want to keep this clock up. But if it doesn't get killed, which it looks like it doesn't, I'm going to play out the Swamp instead. I think I value the ATB untapped land higher than I value having the second Treetop in play. Opponent down to 6. Vortex doing work. If I were my opponent, I would not crack that Bloodstained Mire. Unless they're also cracking the Barbarian Ring and they are like trying to kill this Treetop. Like they have to kill it. Because otherwise it takes a whole turn off the clock. You gotta love it when Sulfuric Vortex ends up. It goes from the best card my opponent could have against me to actually liability. It's kind of nice that, you know, they played it before they knew about the Cop Red. I mean, they played it before I knew about the Cop Red, so. No attacks with Lava Man. I think they are gonna be killing this Treetop Village, but if they do, that's just great for me. So activate Circle Protection Red, prevent damage from Vortex. It's not a bad draw. Go to combat, incinerate the Treetop. I'm going to like activate just it because it's free, for no other reason than that. I mean, this is still a 3-turn clock, so Vortex is just working overtime for me right now. And this is the idea, right? Like, Circle Protection without this Vortex would not be as good. So what Aaron always says about Circle Protection Red against Sligh is very true, which is this is not a win condition. Like, you need something else. So the fact that we've been drawing some Treetops is actually fantastic, right? Like, these have been our win conditions, and they have like been doing so much work. But the fact that my opponent had their own Vortex going on backfired in a very, very big way, because it ended up being our own win condition. Cop on upkeep, prevent damage from Vortex. That's a card. Obviously not gonna play it. Opponent should wait till combat here. I mean, I'm gonna do the same thing again, but I mean, not that it matters, because like this Lavamancer's not really. I guess it would be tapping another one of my mana, so it's probably a good thing for them to do that. But yeah, the Vortex is gonna end this game. I think they should have. I mean, there's no difference between being a 2-on-1 when there's an active Vortex in play, so they should have just fetched and just cracked the Barbarian Ring and gone face, because like they just can't tap this for mana. And like right now, my opponent not doing that last turn is a double Stone Rain, while now it would have also been a single Stone Rain otherwise. So that's 2 points. The thing is that my opponent only has, as long as I leave up 1 mana for Fire Blast, like I'm just fine. So yeah, I'm just gonna Copper Red here. Also, them activating Grim there means that now Barbarian Ring is no longer a concern because they don't even have Threshold. I think this is just my opponent going for like the last shot, but I don't think that it's gonna work. Shock. Shock's fine. Although I guess I should actually prevented the shock because my opponent can't play 2 spells. I guess the rest of their hand could be Fire Blast plus Lightning Bolt. So that would be a reason to not play the shock, but like it just doesn't matter though. Because now I have the Treetop that just... My opponent's not gonna die on their upkeep, they're just gonna die on my Treetop attack. So this is just fine. Alright, we got there. I can't believe we beat Sligh 2-0. Like, feels like not a great matchup, but that's why you play the games, right? Because maybe you can get lucky and just top deck that Copper Red like a champion. Third round. I'm missing a green source here, so I'm gonna ship this hand. Here, any hand, any canned land actually does it, so I think I'm gonna be fine. Actually, do I wanna... I think I wanna bottom the ramp. No, actually, let's bottom the Harrow in case my opponent is playing some sort of counterspell deck. Obviously, we get hosed by Wasteland here, but it is what it is. What are you gonna do? Alright, play my land. Opponent also moves to 6. It's also kind of nice that we have access to double swords here. Gives us something to do. So obviously the best possible draw would be any land, which we did not find. We have a Deed. My opponent goes turn 1 Treetop Village. If they are playing... if they're playing the Rock here and they therapy my Rampant Growths, I'm gonna be... Yeah, this is the Rock. And they have Library. Oof. Alright, that's a land. I'll take it. And I think I'm getting a white source here. Actually a green source, because I'm gonna be using a green 100%. Next turn we can play Deed, but I think I'm gonna Rampant Growth instead. The idea being that I want to make sure that I can cast, you know, I just want to make sure that I'm hitting my land drops here. I feel like if I hit my land drops, this hand is kind of unbeatable. So opponent takes 4. Pretty good. Library definitely doing some serious work here. Cabal Therapy. If they name Source of Plowshares, that's very sad for me. But this is a really good therapy here. Vindicate. No, that's a whiff. But now if they play a wall... Oh, they have their own Rampant Growth. Let's go. Just a classic Rampant Growth mirror match, as we're accustomed to seeing the Premodern format. Oh no. Oh no. Oh, that's a disaster of a draw step. Oh, that's a disaster of a draw step. My opponent knows that, that I have 2 plows, and now I draw the 3rd one. Oh my god. Oh, this is not working out. It's okay, it's okay. We still have some pretty good draws here. We still have some pretty good draws. Yup. Guess what my draw was? Oh my god. That's heinous. 4 mana for Gamekeeper. Alright, so we're playing some sort of combo deck over there. Pernicious. We have a bunch of draws here. We have Wrath. We have just Source of Plowshares number 2. They named Deed? They're gonna let me redraw? Interesting. I mean, Deed is not killing this Phantom Show for a while, right? So, well, we're gonna Blessing 3 Source of Plowshares back into the deck and see what's up. Hey, look at that. You love to see it. You love to see it. There's an argument there for just like main facing the Source of Plowshares, but so if I main face the Source of Plowshares, that means that if my opponent has like the Soul Reader, they'd have a Freak About Therapy, but yeah. My opponent's deck is kind of nice. I'm kind of digging the approach of like Library plus Nishoba, plus like ways to cheat into play Nishoba. It's pretty interesting. Another Gamekeeper. Okay. The problem is like they can Gamekeeper into like what if they keep her into Gamekeeper? Oh, they just why do they keep hitting Phantom Nishobas instead of hitting other Gamekeepers? That's not fair. Although they can just, they can just like Cabal Therapy again. It's not even that good. Oh my god, this is fantastic. I can't believe this. They have Call of the Herd. My opponent's deck is sick. I love it. Skeletals Crying. They milled multiple Cabal Therapies on the way. That's kind of awesome. They milled multiple Calls of the Herd. High Market? Oh my god. That's cool. My opponent's gonna laugh at this one, I imagine. Better lucky than good, they say. Better lucky than good, they say. Is this another gamekeeper or just call it hurt, okay? That was hilarious. I'm just gonna ship here. I don't think... I mean, they may just draw the rest, and that would suck, because I would have gotten to kill an elephant. But they may just, you know, play another... I don't know, like, I feel like they're not gonna therapy. And if, exactly, like, we may be able to... Oh, they just swing with 3 top. I take 6 here. Alright, so now we get to Wrath. We get to get rid of 2 elephants. And now if we find a Dust Bowl, we're gonna be in really good shape. The point is at 26. I wonder if they're just not drawing off library simply because it's not unrealistic for them to deck if I find an answer to the 3 tops. But I feel like if I were them, I would be drawing a little bit more aggressively. Okay, that's Nishoba number 3. Alright. Yeah, that therapy on triple... what's his name? Not... Tormod Script stops the trigger of what's his name, right? I think so. The Gamekeeper trigger? I think it's like Rector. Like, all of those cards are templated similarly. So I think Rampant Growth's probably good. Fairness seems good. Deed seems great. Not super high on Harrow, based on what I saw. Haunting Echoes is pretty interesting. Probably not as good as Exalted Angel. My opponent probably has like a couple of Vendettas to answer my Angel, and that's it. Disenchants are fine. I think I don't care for the Bailots. And I think Ray of Revelation is going to be better than... I'm still not sure if I care about having access to Tormod Script and Haunting Echoes. They seem kind of narrow. Yeah, I think I'm... Second game, and this hand seems fantastic, so let's keep it. Turn 1, 3 top. Turn 2, Rampant Growth. Get my Black Source. Turn 3, probably play a Morph. Although Morph plays into Deed, so maybe I shouldn't play it. Opponent leads on 3 top as well. Gonna Rampant Growth for a Black Source. Ship the turn back. Dude, like, it's funny how both my opponent and I arrived at the same conclusion that Rampant Growth is obscenely underplayed. But then I made a better play because I actually got the nice Rampant Growth as opposed to the ugly ones that one has access to, so just want to point that out. Llanowar Wastes of the ugly variety as opposed to the pretty variety. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna play out a Deed and say go, and I'm just gonna sit here. So this means that my opponent can't really attack, and we have an answer to stuff, but my goal is to just hard cast this Exalted Angel, because if I play it as a Morph, I already saw that my opponent has access to what's his name? What's the name of the card? Oh, another Deed. That's funny. Yeah. So Pernicious Deed was the card that I was thinking of. So I could swing. I run into Vendetta though. I think I'll just pass the turn, holding up Deed activation and DeedCree cycle. I can just pop the Deed, and if I do, that protects my Exalted Angel. So I think I'm just gonna do that. So we're just gonna Deed for 5 for good measure, and then I'm just gonna hard cast this Exalted Angel. Boom! Big Angel! Your turn. My opponent could have one of their... I think I saw 2 Vendettas. That would suck, but, you know. Looks like they do have it. High market over Phyrexian Tower is an interesting choice. Maybe you're just like not trying to ramp into anything, so it just doesn't really matter. Cabal Therapy. This could be pretty bad for me if my opponent hits the Swords of Plowshares. That's not the one. Funny that if my opponent plays Nishoba, I can literally just Deed for 7. There's a library. Huh. Okay, so they're just flashing back Therapy for Deed. Seems okay. I can just cycle DeedCree for 7. I can also just draw... What's my best draw here? Ray of Revelation. They named DeedCree. Drawing a place is not great. I have 7 mana. I think I need to pop here. I do think I need to pop these. So far we're ahead on mana, and we are... Actually, we're not really too ahead. Kind of even. I am winning this race, if this is all that my opponent's gonna do. Never mind, I'm not. That also doesn't help. So I swing and I take no damage. I take 6, down to 11. Opponent goes down to 12. Yeah, this race doesn't favor me. Where are my Dust Bowls? I have 3 of them. I mean, I have to threaten to block here, I think. It at least forces my opponent to use their mana on their turn. Man, Dust Bowl would have been sick. I feel like if I find Dust Bowl, I win the game. That's not a Dust Bowl. Also, the dragon would be great. They probably cannot beat a resolved dragon. Man, I have so many good draws here. Pretty unlucky that we just can't find them. Because my opponent doesn't have anything going on. 2 mana for Living Wish. There's the Gamekeeper. It's not it. That's not it, deck! That's not it. Guess I'll get another forest. I'll get a swamp. That's not it, deck. Do I need a little bit better than that? So there's the Gamekeeper. They should sit on it for now, because they can sack it at any time. Fetch on end step. Okay. Is this just a 6/5? Is this just a 6/5 or is this a cycle? The question basically is this 6/5 better? Is this 6/5? Is the a land plus a random draw better than just a 6/5 body? I don't think a 6/5 is gonna beat any Shoba, so I think I'm actually cycling this. Let's cycle like this. And let's find the last forest and draw a card. Something good. Alright. What you got, Gamekeeper? They don't sack. Very well played by my opponent, by the way. They're gonna name Swords of Plowshares here because it's the only card that makes sense. It's either DeedCree or Swords of Plowshares. They name Plowshares. But if I play it, then my opponent just sacks the Gamekeeper to the high market and I end up in the same way. So here I can allow my opponent to make a mistake, which they did not, versus just basically forcing my opponent into the correct play. So I think right there, even though it may seem weird that I just did not cast the Swords of Plowshares, I think it's just the right play. Dude, my opponent's deck is kind of cool. Okay, it's pretty nice. So I think I cycle this for a bunch. Let's see if they sack now. Now they do sack. Very interesting. What do they find? They find another Gamekeeper. There you go. Yeah, this is what I was saying. Like, you just find yourself in this situation. Treetop. Swing with both. I'm just gonna cycle for the full amount. I could have just hardcast and made some angels, but in the face of any Shoba, more 1/1s are actually more valuable. So that's what I was hoping to. Block, 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 block. I'm putting everything in front of the treetop because of the trample, of course. And then I guess I can just do this. What happens if I do this? Opponent just lets it go. So I guess I want to force the high market activation. I can also just take 2 from the Gamekeeper. Let's just take damage from the I'm just gonna take 2 from the Gamekeeper. Gonna force my opponent to like use the high market here to flip the Gamekeeper. So if they find another Gamekeeper, because if I just trade, then they have the high market. So if they fizzle again and they get another Gamekeeper, then I'm basically allowing them to use the high market to find any Shoba. I could have chomped if I cared about my life total, but here we go. So they do have the therapy. My opponent has been drawn pretty well, I think. We can just get back the dragon and upkeep. Yeah, they probably have to sack. There's the Nishoba. So now I need to find a plow off the top or a wrath. So if I block with 5 1/1s, does this take 5 counters from Nishoba? Like, how does that work? Guess we're about to find out, huh? Right on time. Well, I can just cast this now. Or I can just blow up the high market. I think I'm gonna cast the dragon. I guess we're about to find out. I think I need to block. I'm going to block with 1 token just to see what's up. If my opponent has removal for the Eternal Dragon, I'm going to lose, but I think I'm doing this for science. Only 1 token. Okay, so damage is dealt as a whole. Flashback call. Okay, Eternal Dragon to tap. Cast Eternal Dragon. Man, if I had found this Dust Bowl a while ago, that would have saved me so much life. So I need to top deck specifically Swords of Plowshares now. I guess Wrath of God would also do it. But either one or the other. So block dragon, block that, we take nothing. And now the Nishoba is just like smaller than the dragon, or like just as big as the dragon, I guess. I think my opponent needed to send the elephant token as well. What a game. What a game. It's been really, really cool. Gotta love the fact that I'm literally using all of my mana every single turn. Eternal Dragon comes back, blessing. Ay, ay, ay. What do we do here? I just have to cast the dragon, right? It's so risky. It's so risky for me to attempt to blessing there. There's so many ways that it just becomes a disaster. So I think I'm gonna block like so. The only problem with this block, so here I go to 1, I kill one of the elephants. My opponent doesn't have any more elephants to flash back, at least that I know of. And I lose all of my tokens, I go to 1. And then I have the treetop to trade with the elephant. But I think this actually gives me the breathing room that I need in order to blessing. Oh, this dies to a removal spell though. Yeah, maybe this was wrong. Yeah, I think that this dies to like smother or anything like that. Damage happens. Opponent had a casual 31. But that puts my opponent down an elephant, and now it gives me all of my mana so I can blessing back probably Pernicious, Exalted Angel, and 2 DeedCree, I guess. Gamekeeper. Brutal. That's devastating. Okay, so now I need to top deck specifically Wrath. Oh, they choose to not use it because they may mail themselves. That's hilarious. Okay, so we have to do this. Ah, damn it. I guess I have one more look at a Wrath. So now that I'm in this desperation mode, I'm gonna shuffle back Swords to Plowshares, which is the only card that saves me here. So I can shuffle back. Actually, I can cycle Dragon, so I can find the planes. 2 to cycle Dragon. 2. No, because is that right? Do I have enough mana? So I'm looking for either Wrath or Swords to Plowshares. Either one of those cards save me here, because I can use Treetop to block the Elephant token. I think I have exactly enough mana, so I'm supposed to play Cycling first. There it is. Oh no, I tapped wrong. Oh my god. Well, I just killed myself. Whoops. I needed to tap a black source instead of the green source, because now I'm not going to have enough mana to both Blessing and cycle and activate Treetop for defense. So I guess that being the case, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I made this mistake. How do I fix this now? What's the best play that I can make? I think it's better now if I just shuffle 3 dead cards in my opponent's deck. Because I need to draw specifically Wrath of God. So I'm going to shuffle 3 dead cards, 1 forest. Actually, Rampant Growth. I'll just use. I can shuffle a therapy actually. Let's shuffle 1 therapy and Llanowar Wastes. Man, that was really bad. That was a pretty bad click. I'm gonna draw a Source of Blessings and be very sad now. Pernicious Deed. Yeah, that one doesn't cut it. All right. Man, I feel like if I had 4 more life, if I had found these the Dust Bowl in time, if I had found that Dust Bowl in time, that would have given me the life buffer that I needed in order to stabilize here. Because I think this Eternal Dragon was gonna stabilize us eventually, but did not quite work out. Fantastic match though. This was really fun. My opponent's deck is super cool. My opponent's deck is very cool. I liked it a lot. Alright, GG's opponent, well played. On to, this is match number 4. Currently 2-1. This hand looks great. Like this just makes Eternal Dragon look so great here. So we can go turn 1. I can play a forest into Furnace. We did draw the land anyway, but this gives me now the option to, I guess I'd still fetch for a second white source anyway. City of Tree. Okay. Frantic Search. About to die here? what's going on over here? Brain Freeze and Cunning Wish. Alright. I have access to 2 Gaia's Blessings in my deck, so I'm not particularly scared of a Storm deck, which seems to be what we're up against. So my goal is to not draw Gaia's Blessings. Is now the time to do it? So this Source of Plowshares is dead, meaning I probably want to fetch for a second forest. I am, however, going to play out the swamp, and I think I just blessing back the Brain Freeze and the Frantic Search. This allows me to have Furnace. Okay, that's a good draw. That's a good draw because I think it's pretty likely that my opponent has some amount of artifacts going on in their deck. End step Intuition. Okay. Triple Show and Tell. Alright, I'm kind of scared about this now. Maybe it's not. Oh, this has to be Dream Holes, right? So now they Show and Tell. I put a dragon into play, and then if they do Dream Holes, whatever they play here with that on the stack, I naturalize Dream. So I cast by discarding a card that shares a color, and this is like a ridiculous blow because they're just gonna draw no cards and they give me a 5/5. Yeah, that's that's very good for me. That is okay, I would say. Treetop Village helps me speed up my clock, which I'm into. I have a 5/5 dragon going on too, so I do think it's pretty funny about this deck. It's like, I think my combo matchup is probably not great overall, but if I'm playing specifically against a deck whose win condition is this card in Brain Freeze, if I'm specifically playing against the Brain Freeze deck, then all of a sudden my matchup becomes a lot better. I also have Ray of Revelation, Crumble, Haunting Echoes. I think I want Exalted Angel. Obviously I want to cut all my Wrath of Gods. I want to cut probably Pernicious Deed. Like, I'd much rather have access to Sphere of Resistance effects and Naturalizes. I don't think Phyrexian Furnace is great, to be honest. And I also don't think Pernicious Deed. But I don't think there are any other cards in my sideboard that do anything at all. Like, none of these cards have text whatsoever. So I think that I just submit what I have here. And this hand looks insanely medium. I think I keep it though. Like, we have some pretty nice pressure between Baloth and the Treetop. My life total doesn't matter, so the fact that I have a Llanowar Wastes doesn't really change anything. And Crumble is a potentially irrelevant disruption. I don't love the Furnace, so I think I'm going to go turn 1 Wastes, play a Furnace, then I'm going to go... Yeah, so let's play a Furnace, then turn 2 I'm just going to go Treetop, hold up Crumble, and then following turn I can play a second Furnace and potentially cycle one of them. Okay, Frantic Surge. So this means that my opponent gets to put a Dream Hole, just hard cast a Dream Hole straight up here. But we do have the Naturalize, which is... They discard Intuition and Meditate. And now, let's see if they are going for the hard cast Dream Holes here. Intuition, that's fine. For triple Show and Tell, you got it. So they went and got the Show and Tell, but they could have just hard cast... They could have just hard cast the Dream Holes there, right? Unless I'm missing something? Well, Sphere is a very interesting draw. I think that is good enough. I think that it's good enough to play here, because that's going to delay... It's basically going to stop my opponent's engine, right? It's going to prevent me from interacting, sure, but it also stops my opponent's deck from winning the game. So I think that just playing the Sphere here is pretty decent. Let's play out the tapped Treetop. And am I playing a second Furnace, or am I holding up Crumble? I guess I'm not really holding up Crumble, I'm just holding up a pitch card for Naturalize. I do think I want to play the second Furnace. Like, I'm going to have to cycle this eventually. And this just sitting in play seems okay. I mean, it's kind of whatever. Alright, so exile one, exile the other one. I kind of want to hit my land drop here. That's a card. Yeah, that probably locks up this game, right? The second Sphere. I have to imagine that locks the game up. Yeah, seems very hard for my opponent to win from this position. Like, next turn I was just going to start attacking with the Treetop Village. And just like, take 1, opponent takes 3. Take 1, opponent takes 3. That's gonna be like the sequence for the next 7 turns or whatever. Alright, 3-1 with a brand new brew. Feels pretty good. Alright, here we go. Last match. This hand looks fantastic. Let's keep it. The only thing that I kind of want to dodge here is the card Wasteland. That one could be problematic, but yeah, most other things I'm kind of fine with. Turn 1 Duress. This is probably going to take my Rampant Growth, which sucks a little bit, but maybe it's fine. Basics, oh, they take DeedCree. Interesting. Duress into Ursa's Bubble. So this could be Pit Rack, I would assume. Definitely playing Furnace, playing a Treetop turn 1. If my opponent top decks the Wasteland, so be it, but like I really need to, like I need to resolve this Rampant Growth, right? Like I don't think I have too much of a choice there. Second Swamp is good. Fortunately, no Sinkhole in this format, so... Oh, please don't name Phyrexian Furnace. Rampant Growth, okay. Oof, dodged. I mean, sure, like it sucks, right? Like getting a Rampant Growth there, it's kind of rough for us, but could have been like a very clean 2-for-1 against a deck that specifically cares about, you know, the amount of cards that I have in hand. So I think this coming turn, I'm not gonna Blessing. I'm just gonna play both. That sucks, but it's okay. So I will just play both Furnaces to protect myself from a Flashback Therapy. Sulphur Springs, okay. Are we playing against the Hippie deck? We could be. All right, we are playing against the hippie deck. This seems kind of okay. Like, I doubt my opponent's going to flashback therapy there. Ah! What do I want to do here? I'm definitely just doing this right now. I think I just have to play this Rampant Growth. And I think I get another green source. Like, it would be an absolute disaster if I end up not having... It would be an absolute disaster if I don't have access to green mana. So even though I can top deck Deed, which would actually be very good, actually. But I think it's priority for me to get another green source here. So Hippie is gonna get in there. It's gonna get one of my cards. Gaia's Blessing, whatever. I don't think it matters too much. I could get aggressive and just start beating down. Here I'm gonna discard the Naturalize. It's fine. Okay, we untap, Plains. So I'm just gonna Blessing. I'm gonna shuffle back another Blessing, DeedCree, and I think I don't want to shuffle back a Rampant Growth at this point. It is a black source, however. I don't think that matters as much. I think I'm just gonna ship here. Another Treetop. That's fine. So let's play out the second Treetop. So that means that now this Ravenous Rats is not really gonna do anything. I'm probably gonna sit on this Phyrexian Furnace for a while. Like, there's no reason to play into this hippie, and we have like a pretty kind of a lot of time. Opponent can get in there here. Swords to Plowshares would be great. My opponent could have access to Lava Man, right? So that's why I'm exiling there. Another Treetop, okay. So I guess now I'm gonna have one of my Treetops to block, which is very nice. And then I can take the damage from Spectre, and then I can Furnace on end step to draw a card. So draw a Deed. I think Deed actually really incentivizes me to draw another card. So let's get rid of the other Rampant Growth, it's fine. But if I find, okay, double Deed. Black Source one time? Easy game. Easy game. The easiest of games, I'd even say. Play well, get rewarded, etc, etc, etc. Opponent serves. We're gonna crack Deed for 3. And next turn I get to deploy a second Deed and just leave it in play, which should be pretty good. And I can start beating down with Treetop. Is that better? Yeah, that's actually better. So let's Rampant Growth, get my black source. Actually, I should have got another green. That was my bad. And now I just play Deed and just leave it in play and just protect it from discard spells. I should have gotten a second white though. I forgot that I have access to what's his name here. Another well, there you go. So now we get a second white source. Now we have Wrath of God, and I can get in there. Sure. I'm gonna start clocking. Terminate. Sure, I accept that. I think I take 2. I can pop the Deed for 0, but I think I'm just going to take 2 here. And then I'm going to fire off, use one Treetop to attack and the other one to block. Hypnotic Spectre. Sounds good to me. Dust Bowl. It's pretty good. Well, I love this deck. I love this deck. We can throw away the Llanowar Wastes, probably. Pop Deed for 3. Lavavor Muse. Now that's a problem. Now that is a problem. 2 or fewer cards in hand and I take 3? That is so much damage. That's a crazy amount. So I'm gonna hold back Treetop to block. And can I beat this card? I need to top deck Swords to Plowshares. It's the only thing that saves me, otherwise I just get raised by it. STP or Wrath. That doesn't do it. Alright, I was not expecting Lavavor Muse. I was most definitely not playing around Lavavor Muse. That part is clear. Alright, so Furnace, Exalted Angel I want very much. I don't think I care about the Naturalizes. Don't care about Sphere. I think Furnace is probably fine. I have Deed to answer enchantments and whatnot. This seems fine. This hand looks pretty good. Let's keep it. So we have a Deed, we have Fixing. We also have Exalted Angel. We already have a Treetop in play, which is pretty nice. Duress would be a problem. Bubble. Double Bubble. Windswept Heath was revealed. And Rampant Growth was. Alright, so I guess if they have Cabal Therapy, you can just... Yeah, they're just gonna take the Rampant Growth. That's kind of a combo right there. Kind of a little bit of a combo, you know? Croson Tusker. Don't mind if I do. Tusker seems really good in this matchup. Just going up on cards seems quite strong. Ravenous Rats. I think I'm just discarding the Heath here. If I find a black source off the top, I'm just gonna play out the deed. Oh, my opponent's not gonna let me. That's fine. Okay. So they do take the deed. Pretty happy that they don't take the Tusker. That's also another combo. My opponent's got some pretty good combos going on over there. So play out the forest, ship the turn back. Now we're gonna have access to our black source, which is nice. And we're also threatening to block with the treetop. Therapy. Yeah, I'm just gonna cycle this Tusker here. Please, please, let's not draw an Exalted Angel. That's all I'm asking for here, you know? Just don't cycle into okay, cool, that's fine. That's fine, I will accept that. So Exalted Angel down. Opponent can ship with the factory there, but Lava Man. Okay. I can also just swing with Treetop. I can just sack Dust Bowl too. Dust Bowl slows down the... Yeah, I think I'm just gonna Dust Bowl. Discarding, sacrificing the basic forest. Just keeping my opponent off of Lavaborn Muse mana. Seems Spectre's pretty good there. Spectre is actually quite good there. Swords to Plowshares, Wrath of God. None of that. Gonna play out the fetch for a forest and pass the turn back. We're gonna cycle this DeedCree to get a 1/1. Oh, actually I should have gotten a white source off of the fetch. DeedCree was revealed. I mean, that's fine. If they want to, like, therapy my DeedCree, that's acceptable. It's gonna cost them a Lavamancer. I should not... I'm regretting having fetch for a forest. Like, activating Treetop, it's not something that I need to threaten right now. Like, I'd much rather have access to the white source. So we get a token, and we draw the deed. Oh, please, don't take the deed. Don't do it. Don't do it, hippie. No! Alright, opponent also deployed a Lavaborn Muse, which is really scary, but I can find Swords to Plowshares. Okay, that's decent here. Well, I think we just start attacking. Send with Treetop. And I'm gonna plow the Lavaborn Muse as opposed to the Hypnotic Spectre. But the Lavamancer is kind of a problem here. This Lavamancer is killing me pretty quickly. I guess if I was gonna do that, I should have attacked with the Solier last turn. Would have been 1 more point of damage. It's close, because it doesn't allow my opponent's Grim Lavamancer to attack. So I think it's actually kind of close. Brushland. I'll just play that one out, I guess. And this is the only thing that I can do, so we're gonna send. The good thing is now I can, if I draw a Wrath, I'm gonna be very far ahead. Opponent drew all 4 bubbles, which is pretty good when you have a Grim Lavamancer in play. But if I top the Wrath here, I'm gonna feel very comfortable. Take 2, untap. Hey, there we go. So this stops my opponent's offense completely. I mean, it brings me down to Lightning Bolt range, I guess, because the opponent is gonna get to swing in for 2. Because I was 1 mana short of activating Dust Bowl last turn. So I guess I should have attacked first. I should have attacked. Oh my god. Oh, that was a really big punt. Like, it was free to attack with the token, and my opponent could have activated the Mishra's Factory to block, which would have obviously been quite good for me. So now I go to Lightning Bolt range. Ugh, that was a big punt. Really big mistake. Can I find Exalted Angel off the top? Okay. Probably gonna hold on to that one. And I'm just gonna Dust Bowl the factory. And I'm going to sack my Brushland. I can't afford to take damage from that, I don't think. So I have my opponent's next creature covered, which is good. Cool, that's fine. And then I can potentially start swinging. So that takes care of the hippie. And my best draw is probably the dragon. If I had found the dragon, I would have been in really good shape. We're gonna be racing. This is close. This is very close. DeedCree. DeedCree for 3. We're dead to Lightning Bolt. We're dead to a bunch of things. But this is a 2-turn clock. Hopefully I draw something that can be the rest. Okay, that's great. Dragon? Angel. Exalted Angel off the top. That would be my best draw now. Here we go. Here's an attack for 6. We lose to Lavaborn Muse. We lose to Lightning Bolt. That one is not as scary. Oh, oops, oops. Oh, misclick there, but it's fine. Okay, so we're just gonna play Windswept Heath, Dust Bowl, 1, 2, 3, second Windswept Heath, 1, 2, 3, Treetop, swing for 6, and now we cross our fingers. Hold! Yes! Oh, we go on to game 3, baby. What a slugfest. Turn 13 victory. You love to see it. What a crazy game. Cop Red. How do we feel about Cop Red? Cop Red seems okay versus the Muse, but pretty bad with my own Pernicious Deed. So probably not worth it. Yeah, probably not worth it. What a crazy game we've played. I'm gonna keep this hand, and my opponent's gonna, you know, just name DeedCree with a Cabal Therapy, and I'm gonna be very sad, but it is how it goes sometimes. Am I just morphing an Exalted Angel on turn 3? No therapy seems great. I'm just gonna Blessing, no targets, just a cycle. Draw a Deed. Okay, so basic Plains was revealed. Still, my opponent has no information. Phyrexian Arena. Can beat that one. I think I'm just gonna drop a Deed, which my opponent can't really interact with. So I just let this Pernicious Deed sit on the battlefield for a minute. Cabal Therapy. Name Exalted Angel, damn it. Pretty good soul read from my opponent. Reanimate? Holy crap. Wow, it's kind of hot. Do I just Wrath this? Reanimate, dude, that's so funny. I think I just Wrath here, because this is the card that my opponent already knows about, and I don't know, I don't want them to just be able to name Swords to Plowshares. Like, I don't want them to be able to just flashback this therapy to take my Wrath. Also, they can't really overextend on this board. They're at 11. They took 6 from the Exalted Angel, so they're at 11. I may be able to, like, get some value from these decrees if my opponent, like, takes a little bit too long. Like, if I were my opponent, I would just flashback this therapy right now. Just throw this back. Yeah, just throw the Spectre away. Clear those decrees. Play a land, say go. I don't think I'm popping this Deed right here. Am I? I don't think so. Use. That's fine. Okay, now I am gonna be popping. Pop for 4. I'm just gonna play another Deed. Okay. So let's just Harrow, sucking this Swamp. And we're gonna get a Swamp and a Forest. And play another Pernicious Deed. Alright, this Pernicious Deed have been doing a lot of work. Can I draw Eternal Dragon? Hell yeah, I can. Hell yeah, I can draw Eternal Dragon. Ooh, baby. Okay, now we're cooking. Now we are cooking. Set a stop on my upkeep. I have been so impressed by this card. I have been so impressed by this card. I think that I'm just blowing up right now for 5. So upkeep, Eternal Dragon, untap, play land, pass the turn, and now we have a clock. Lava Man. Does that do anything? Because they don't even have a therapy to flash back now. I think I just cycle again. And I set a stop on my upkeep. Lava Muse. Okay, that one's gonna have to go. So kill that one. Untap. I think I just cast this one. Ship the turn back. My opponent wants to terminate the dragon. That's fine. We're gonna be swinging with Treetop as well, I think. Eternal Dragon has looked so impressive this entire league. I think I want access to at least a 3rd copy. Is a 6/5 better than just swinging and drawing a card? Because my opponent's got 2 chomp blockers. I think I'm just going to attack and just attempt to close the game as quickly as I can. If they want to 2-for-1 themselves to deal with the Treetop Village, I'll accept that. So they can't pump the factory. So this is fine. If they want to 2-for-1 themselves, that's acceptable. Oh, they're just gonna Grim Lava Man. I think that's fine. So cycle, I think, for a forest. Let's draw a card. Yeah, that one's pretty good. Alright, so I'm assuming this game is gonna be cooked. We have a Wrath, we have DeedCree, and we also have a flying 5/5 in play. And we're sitting pretty at 20, so I think I'm ready to call this one. I think I am ready to call this one. Man, I can't believe that we got there game 2. That was absolutely wild. Wow, what a crazy match. This deck is so much fun. Jeez. That was awesome. Well, to say that I enjoy that would be a heck of an understatement. This felt amazing. I had a really good time playing this list. It kind of feels like there's something here. I feel like I'm doing something powerful. I have to say that the cards that impressed the most, obviously, Rampant Growth was fantastic. Rampant Growth was consistently very impactful, and it really propelled us into the mid to late game, which was absolutely fantastic. I really liked Eternal Dragon. I feel like I want either a 3rd or even a 4th copy. Like it really overperformed, and it was kind of the card that I wanted to draw a bunch of the time. I feel like The cards that were not particularly impressive was maybe like the fourth Wrath I could do without. The Harrow was also kind of not great either. I really wish that there was another like 2-mana Rampant Growth style effect that I could use. Unfortunately, something like Fertile Ground, which is what I thought about, like doesn't really combo with your Pernicious Deed, so that really sucks. But I mean, I really wish that there was something that I could, you know, maybe I just have to just assume that I only have access to Rampant Growth. The problem is like these being mana fixing. Like I did like the fact that I was able to pretty reliably cast my Pernicious Deed. So maybe like the white from Wrath of God and the black for Pernicious Deed and the green from Baloth, I feel like you kind of had to choose some of that. And I mean, I'm mostly going to be base green, like I kind of have to be, right? So I think that the Baloth is kind of a freebie in that sense, but maybe I don't know, I need to like cut down on a deed or something like that. I feel like there's some tinkering to do with this list. Maybe Harrow is just what it needs to be, unfortunately, whether I like it or not, but this was the card that I would imagine was, I would think was the most underperforming. The main deck Furnace was just fine. I mostly like the fact that it just opens up cyber slots, really. Like, I don't think it's that great of a main deck card, but it definitely is a fantastic cyber card, and I kind of need a lot of help against the combo matchups. The fact that we beat Sligh was actually very it's a matchup that I was very scared of. So the fact that we were able to actually beat it gives me a lot of hope for the archetype. I do wonder how this is gonna fare against something like goblins and stuff like that. I did some actual in-person testing this past weekend, and it did not look particularly great, so I'll say as much. But yeah, I cannot wait to continue tinkering with this deck. Like it really felt like a ton of fun. It is casting a bunch of cards that I really enjoy. So it's really doing something very cool. And I think that it's an angle that is not super explored right now in Premodern. Like just Pernicious Deed was incredible every time we drew it, right? Like, and there's not that many decks that can actually do that. So also, shout out to my opponent playing the rock version with like Groundkeeper, or like whatever the name of that card is with an Ishovas. Like that was incredible. Had so much fun in that matchup. Like that deck looked very cool. Like flipping a bunch of a Call of the Herds off of the the trigger was it really caught me off guard. It was super cool. But yeah, this is just another a little bit of what you can expect to see in Premodern. Like the format is just incredible. You can brew things like this and actually do well, even when playing against some good decks. Like we played against Standstill, which is one of the top tier decks. We played against Sligh, which is another top tier deck. So definitely you can do, if you understand what the format is about, it really is a brewer's paradise. Like you can really do so many cool things. So one of the things why I love the format so much. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next video, folks. Take care, and bye-bye.